Greetings, friends and Robloxians. Thanks for watching a Little Kingdom production. Please like and subscribe if you like STARSCAPE, if you like having fun, if you like the sound of my voice, if you like traveling space, playing creative games. That's what I'm doing today. I'm in STARSCAPE. It's huge. It's an open galaxy. You can travel to thousands of planets, star systems, tens of thousands of NPC locations. I'm just returning from exploring space. I was kind of on a spice finding mission, a loot finding expedition into the wilds, and I got a lot of stuff. I filled my ship up within an hour, more or less. Wasn't really in a hurry, just relaxing, enjoying the game. Yeah, I'm now in an unsecure location. I found a wormhole, and here's a space station conveniently at the end of this wormhole, and I need to unload my loot. So, stealth ship, this is the Shroud. It's good for hauling some stuff. Got 23 spaces on this ship. I filled it with jade spice, and selling it here for 13,800. It's a pretty good amount of coin. While here at this cargo loading dock, I will unload my inventory. Just put everything in storage for safekeeping. Store it all here. While you're in unsecured space, you gotta watch out. Make sure that no pirates or non-player character enemies are trying to kill you while you're unloading. You have to unload your hauler before you can enter the space station. Enter the space station, and I'm going to switch ships out for a larger ship. This Shroud, it's a nice stealth ship. Stealth ship allows me to hang out in enemy locations without being seen on their radars for a while. And it's got 24 of these storage slots here, but I've got a bigger ship, so I'm going to pick that up. Going to outfit it and head back out to the wilds on this location I found with lots of spice. I couldn't bring it all back, so I've got this Galaxy. It is a large hauler, and it has 30 cargo capacity compared to that Shroud, which has 24. So I'll just edit the ship to my liking, put on some weapons and defenses, and change the color. I like the targeter because it increases my weapons efficiency against enemies. This nano patcher will repair my hull when it gets damaged. And I'll put on some reflective plating to make me a little more stealthy. Get the overdrive for a quick boost of speed. This ship does have slots for weapons, so I'll put a couple of these coil guns on there. Make it a little camouflage color. I like to find those ancient coil guns out at the abandoned satellite locations, ancient space stations. All right, here we are, gonna get in this giant hauler. I wish it was a ship that would dock to the outside of the space station. It's kind of clumsy to navigate through here. We're exiting the space station, and we will find the nearest spice location. There's actually one right here in this planet system. I love the graphics of this game. Just traveling through warp, mesmerizing starfield flashes past you. Reminds me of Star Wars or something. Star Trek warp speed. Alright, here we are at this spice platform, little spice station. And at these ones that are anomalies, or things you have to discover out in open space, they are protected by these drones. or they're being looted by the drones. I don't know. Be cool if there's a better backstory on this. But you pick up the floating spice containers that just are outside of the spice platform. Now, at a spice platform in a space station area, or one that's not an anomaly, it would be active. You could actually buy spice from those, or sell, I think. These ones that you discover, they've just got free spice floating out and about in space, and you got to pick them up before the drones kill you. So yeah, get them and get out. I'm going to go back to that wormhole and traverse the galaxy. So this is going to take me to the other side of the galaxy. Some wormholes travel great distances. Some aren't that great, but this one's really good. Especially for selling spice, you want to get certain kind of spice from one side of the galaxy, and they're color-coded. Just look on the galaxy map. But you take that spice to the other side of the galaxy, and you can make quite a bit more profit. Just part of the fun of the gameplay. I like to make note of where wormholes are, so I can find a path from wild space back to inner space, unsecured space, somewhere I can unload the loot. Alright, I've already explored these planetary systems around here, most of them. These ones that I'm just going right to the spice platform here. I've already probed the system, so I already know where it's at. When you go into a new planetary system, you don't know where the good stuff is. You have to probe it and find that, and we'll look at that in a little bit. Alright, so here we are at the first Wilds spice platform. Sometimes there's 4 or 5 of these containers floating out here. Further out in the wilds, you get a better chance of getting the good stuff. So I got 1 green and 1 jade. I prefer to get all jade. It's more valuable. So there was 4. I've got 6 of my cargo slots filled up. And we'll check out the other planets, see what else is out here. I do like to scan them all and see what kind of loot they've got at their X anomalies, abandoned space stations, ancient space stations. Sometimes you find a satellite with a beacon on it. That's where you find the really good ancient space stations. I made a video on hunting ancient relics. You should check it out if you're interested in other kinds of missions. Alright, here's another spice platform. Just quickly pick these things up. The drones that are out here in the wilds are a little more dangerous, usually, than those found in unsecured space, or I think you can even find these in the faction space locations, but yeah, alright, well, you got that spice got, so let's get out, get it, and go. $17 slots remaining. Alright, I'm actually going to go to the next planetary system. So I haven't been to all of these, but there's been a lot of good spice in these locations so far, so pretty sure I'm going to find it rather quickly. The more stuff I'm hauling, the slower my warp speed is going to get. Alright, so I've warped right into a new system, and there's some enemies here. The first thing I like to do is get up some speed, get out of harm's way. So, increase the throttle here, going in the opposite direction of the enemies. Don't really want to engage with them. I want to just scan the system and quickly get to some spice. Did quite a bit of damage already. I got to keep an eye on the shields and especially the hull. That nanopatcher will heal it slowly over time, but get to a safe location, just kind of rest for a bit, probe the system. I like to check out all the planets. This one has 8 planets and 2 anomalies. Navigate this probe the best I can in the most efficient manner. Try to keep straight lines, giving enough distance that once it gets close to an anomaly, the blue line starts to turn green and yellow and then red once you're right on top of it. Looks like it was turning green over here. Check that out. All right, found a AT, which I think is some kind of asteroid field. If I was mining on a mining mission, I would be in a different ship and I'd be looking for stuff like that. I don't really need to scan these planets just for spice, but I think you get experience points for everything you scan. And so while I'm using the probes, might as well get it up, get that experience. All right, found a spice platform. Definitely make sure when you're scanning a system, you're also keeping an eye on the bottom left corner of the screen there. It shows who is in the system with you. And if you see another player there, if you're not experienced at this game and you're not ready to do battle, the general new beginner advice is you see another player, warp to another system. Get away from them. So many pirates in this game. One thing I do enjoy about this game is right now, exploring these wild open areas and finding all this loot, is there aren't really many players in the game right now. There'll be an update soon, and I bet there'll be a lot more players online checking out that update. Hopefully it's soon. Watch some videos from the developer. I enjoy watching videos about this game, and I like to watch people play, but I especially like to see the developer testing out the new stuff. And if we get it, it's going to be pretty cool. I got the spice out of here, so we'll head to the next location and do it again. I actually have a funny story about pirates. Sometimes I run into other players and I really enjoy playing with other people. This game's a lot of fun when you meet some cool players, people who are having fun and like to include you in their gameplay. Sometimes those players are pirates, though. And they have interesting tactics. One guy I ran into, he was really nice, chatting me up, asking me what I was doing, and invited me to join their faction. Now I wonder if I maybe should have, but I like to play this game kind of freedom without belonging to anybody or, don't want to be an enemy to any specific group. And I know a lot of these factions are pirates. But I, talked to him about it and was trying to find out what he was into. And he kept saying, oh yeah, we're miners and explorers. And mining is not one of the funnest things in the game. It is very relaxing if you stay away from enemies and just want to kind of halfway AFK the game, because mining takes a little while. But this is really active playing right here. So we are actively exploring, and I don't see any other players. But if we did, I would engage with them in conversation. Like that one guy was asking me, what I was doing, if I wanted to join his faction, and what he was really doing was calling his friends. Within a few minutes, I was surrounded by some really large battleships, and these guys started attacking me, and they also used warp disruptors. I've actually got a couple on my ship right now. I don't plan on using them, but if I wanted to get away from another player, I might consider using a warp disruptor and trying to get away. I'm not sure if that warp disruptor would affect me or not. I've never actually used one. I'm not a pirate, but yeah, that's what they do. So they use their warp disruptors. You cannot escape, and it was actually very interesting and quite an experience. I had been pirated before, but this was the most interactive pirating situation I'd been in. These guys asked me about paying them off. So once I was just about dead, they stopped firing on me, and I still couldn't warp out of there. And once they asked me if I wanted to pay them off, then I played along a little bit, just in conversation. And while I was doing that, I was trying to heal up and make some distance between me and them, but they probably knew what I was doing. So I fought back a bit, and I actually killed the fighter, that the guy who initially engaged me in conversation. And the two other battleships, they took me back down again, and I said, all right, I'll pay you. And I ended up giving them 200,000 coin. I don't know if that's a lot. I don't actually spend the coin in this game. I like collecting it, but I don't use it. But I gave it to them, and immediately they destroyed me. So I lost my ship, and not that big of a deal, but losing the ancient components kind of hurts a little bit. 7 slots remaining. We are almost done here. So probably find 2 more spice platforms, and then we'll head back to that wormhole. As soon as I warp into these systems, got to make some distance between me and those enemy NPCs. This one had already been scanned, so check out this spice platform. Yep, just a few container spaces left. If you're new to this game, I really recommend getting used to the controls. There's a lot of different windows to navigate, and when I first started, I actually made a little notepad of all the different controls. Each ship's got, or a different class of ship has different kinds of controls. Larger ships are a little harder to navigate. I love that the game is still being updated and actively worked on by the developer. I miss being able to chat in their Discord. I think it's still disabled for comments. I'm not sure why. People do like to trash talk. I think that might be a big reason why. But here we are Not finding any spice here, so we'll head to the next planetary system. It's a beautiful day in space. These random namings of planetary systems sometimes crack me up. Sometimes you warp right on top of those enemy locations, these space stations, these drone hideouts or pirate dens. Alright, this one's got a couple of spice platforms ready to get to, so just quickly get them and go. Now these locations that I'm finding, once you find an anomaly and you pick up the stuff, the anomaly disappears. And I don't know how long it takes for the server to reset or add new anomalies, but these will be gone. And I've actually found these great hiding places. Well, not specifically spice platforms, but specifically X factor locations or the ancient satellites. So once you find those and you collect that loot, they disappear from the planetary system so that somebody could not warp to you. And I've found that a great way to hide from pirates on occasion, real player characters actively hunting you down. But not a lot of players in the game right now. I think when I joined up there were like 100, and probably half of those guys or a good portion of them are just hanging out at the core doing PvP battles or trading or just chatting it up. I don't spend a ton of time in the core. I really like to just explore space and collect stuff. Occasionally I'll go on a mining expedition, look for water. All that stuff is good for crafting new ships, weapons. Nothing is really a waste. Stuff that you can collect, you can sell everything. You can use a lot of the loot from enemy factions or NPC characters, pirates, all that stuff. You can use it to rank up or gain experience points with factions. One thing I wish this game had, and I'd asked for it several times, it's not really a good example right now, but when you're in really dark space, if you're searching for battlefield locations, and you pick up a lot of good loot in those battlefields, a lot of armor and handheld weapons, and it's really hard to see when you're out in the pitch black of space. Kind of wish they'd equip your ship with a light, or you could craft a light that you could put on your ship so when you're close to really dark objects, they light up. Sometimes they don't become visible until you're right on top of them, and even then they're still really dark. What spaceship wouldn't have a light on it? Spotlight. That you can, like, check out your immediate surroundings. Give it to us. That'd be a cool update to the game. You never know. The developers are always making little changes. Recently, they changed the probes, so last time I played the game, probes were something your ship came with. Every ship had probes, but now you have to craft them. Luckily, they're pretty cheap. I already had tons of resources to craft, I don't know, thousands of probes, but didn't want to carry too many. They do take up some space, and if you're only going to be out traveling maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 systems, you might need 10 or 15 system probes, and then there's specific probes for planets. I might get double that. I'm still figuring out the best gameplay for crafting probes. So here we are with a full hauler. And coming up through the rings of this wormhole. Right now I'm navigating so that I'm going forward and up. Now you see the shadow on the rings. I just love the graphics of this game. Wormhole looks pretty cool. It's like a black hole, but it doesn't suck you in. You have to find the little icon so it lights up and you can scan it or go into it. So I go into them. Sometimes I scan them and I find that they are almost always unstable. I think there are a couple stable ones, and supposedly they get unstable where they're about to disappear, and I've read that you can lose your stuff going through those, but I don't think I've actually found any. But I really don't scan them, I just go through them. I'm not sure I've lost anything that way, but let me know in the comments if you have. I love to watch players' YouTube videos on this game. Some of them are kind of crazy, like there's huge battles. Most of them are really old. When this game was in its heyday, before I really joined it, I kind of joined at the tail end of its popularity. When I got into the game, people were already talking about how they missed the big battles, and steadily the game has declined in player counts, but I still play it because it's beautiful and there's a mix of action and adventure. Just playing against the NPCs is fun. I do like to battle the NPCs when I'm in a destroyer or even a fighter. Destroyer is more for taking out pirate dens and drone hideouts, but yeah, so gotta unload my stuff, head to this cargo dock, transfer my cargo, sell the spice, make some loot, and that's gonna be it. It's been a fun day. I think my next one will be my next mission. I'll take out a destroyer and go hunt down some space stations, NPC space stations out in the wilds, and collect some other kinds of loot. So that's going to be it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed STARSCAPE. If you're still with me this far into the video, I really appreciate you. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. I'll try to make more videos as soon as I can. I'm on summer break, out of school for the summer. Still studying and practicing, getting ready for the next term. But more time for games. And I'll try to go touch some grass. Get out and enjoy the real world. Father's Day is tomorrow. Call my dad. Hope he's in good health and having a good time. He doesn't know I make these videos, even though I'm 50 years old and he's like 70. I'd be kind of embarrassed to say, Dad, yeah, I'm a gamer. I am being productive though. Like I said, I'm studying, still practicing piano, making music, and I like to make the music to go with my videos. Been learning a lot of cool stuff about production in school. Also learning Spanish, so ¿Qué pasa? Me llamo es Bird Brain. Yeah, I'm itching to do some battle, so I'm going to have to get into a battleship and head out on a new mission. And then I'll put this video together and post it. So thanks again for watching. Make sure to leave me a comment, say hello. If you've got any ideas for videos or other games that you like to play, let me know what you like to play. Especially love free games. I haven't spent any Robux on this game at all, so I like that a lot. But you know, if they offered some more useful stuff, I might spend some Robux on it. like to support the developers. So go ahead, add something. Not play to win, but something useful. Add lights. All right, you guys. I'm going to sign off. Remember to have fun and keep it imaginary.